Thank you all for joining us. As you can see on your screen, this is the I Spy a Pillbug. We're broadcasting here today from Duke Farms. And for those of you who are new or need a refresher about Duke Farms, we are a property of about 2,470 acres of land dedicated to the conservation, dedicated to preservation, and also dedicated to ecological research. About 1,000 acres are open to the public for you to explore. There's about 18 miles of trails there. And there you can see some of our efforts in sustainability, and that's what we're really all about. The mission of Duke Farms is to inspire our visitors to become informed stewards of the land. And you may ask how we do that. And we typically have about 300 classes from toddlers all the way up to adults. We're now doing a lot of virtual classes, as you can see. And we also have a really rich distance learning portal that we hope that you check out with 70+ resources for families, non-formal educators, formal educators. There's all sorts of lesson plans and activities and things to do, not only at Duke Farms, but in your backyard. So my name is Kate Riley. I'm the manager of education at Duke Farms. And just a few things about housekeeping. We are keeping the Q&A open, the little chat open if you have a question. You are muted and we can't see you. So you can see us hopefully, but we cannot see you. Yesterday, I sent out an email with a little magnifying lens. So I'm not sure whether you all got your magnifying lenses. And of course, I've been playing with this on the camera because it's so much fun. But one of the things, and one of the really, the reason that we are so in love with this class is that it's just a little tiny bit of information. And the best part is that with this information, we hope that you explore the outdoors. We hope that you go outside on a gorgeous day like today and you start exploring. It's not just about being inside and being on a screen. It's about just kind of exploring what there is outdoors. And that's what we're all about. We're outdoor educators. So we want people to go outside and have a great time, whether you live in a rural, suburban, urban area. There's always great things. There are always great things to see outside. So with that, and we hope that you enjoy our little cartoon here. We couldn't help ourselves. So before we start going through our program, I also want to introduce to you a co-host of the program. And we have a very small but very mighty education team, and Vaughn Scully is a star. Wonderful member of our ed team, and he's going to be with us today for the program. He has some surprises. So Vaughn, you're gonna have to wait a few minutes to show them your surprises, but
oh darn.
Yeah, you have to wait. So we hope that you enjoy them. Also, we'll be sending out some resources and we'll be explaining those resources that you can be using. And then also we'll be corresponding with you also on Friday of this week. So lots of back and forth, and we hope that if there's any other questions or things that you need to know, that you email me at kriley@dukefarms.org, and we're gonna get right back to you. Actually, I think that this class design came from somebody who's not on the staff. So we get ideas from everybody. We're really looking forward to expanding our portfolio. And if you see something out there you think that we should try, we'll probably be game for it. So with that, you can see on this slide, there's a little cartoon Pillbug scenario, and then also a beautiful photograph of one on the leaf. And I'm just gonna take you through some of the things that we're going to discover together today as a group. This is a wonderful book. It's from the National Science Teachers Association. They have an STA Kids series, as you can see. Emily Morgan is a wonderful author, and this book won an Outstanding Science Trade Book Award, and you can see why. We've taken some photographs and just kind of prompted you with these really great pictures of our friends, the Pillbug. This is really kind of the emphasis that you've already heard me discuss. And teaching children about the natural world should be seen as one of the most important events in their lives. We think it's the most important things in our lives. So, you know, I love this quote. You will be able, at the end of this class, to really get that close hand look at our friends the Pillbug. You'll be able to really study them and know much more about them. Sometimes we know that we have more questions than answers, and I can tell you, as a scientist myself, that's always the case. If you are curious and if you're interested in exploring things, and you always are the person who's like, why does this happen? How come it's like this? What is this for? You are already a scientist. So we want to encourage those questions. Oh my goodness, is this the same organism? Is this the same animal? Doesn't look like the same animal, but see, some animals can change their shapes. And Vaughn will be talking about this and telling us maybe why this happens. And, you know, is it just spontaneous that they just pop into a ball? How does that even work? So that's one of the questions that we'll be answering through today. Wow, here's a Pillbug. Really not all brown either. Can you see those colors? They're not all exactly the same color all throughout, are they? They have that golden, I can see some red. You know, if I were an artist, I would probably be picking up a bunch of different colors from my palette to be able to draw this Pillbug. And look, who's that little guy? Do you see that little one right there? Is that a Pillbug? Well, we're going to have to revisit that, because that sure looks like a Pillbug, but why is he so little? And why is he that color? That doesn't make sense, does it? You will also learn maybe some of the parts of the Pillbug's body. That's called anatomy. Just like we have hands and fingers and arms and a nose, a couple of eyes. Pillbugs all have those same kinds of parts in their body, and that's their anatomy. So Vaughn is going to be leading us through that as well. I just love how they close up into those little balls. It's fascinating. So here it goes. This is a close hand look at the Pillbug. Remember, think about the questions as we go along, and you're going to need the information in Vaughn's program, in Vaughn's presentation, to answer the questions later on. So I'm going to stop sharing here, Vaughn. I'm going to turn the program over to you. So,
all right.
Okay.
Hello, can everybody see me? Let's see if we can get that chat function going. Kate can see me.
Yeah.
Let's see. And probably the best thing for parents who are here with your kiddos, if you could make sure that you're on the active speaker view. That's probably the best way that you're going to be able to see my screen all the time. So we'll make sure that you can see me. And we'll get started because I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. So my name is Vaughn, as Kate said, and I'm one of the educators. If you've ever visited Duke before, you probably saw me sitting at the front desk talking to people, preparing classes and lessons and exhibits and stuff like that. And this is my favorite thing to do. I love teaching. I love being able to talk about little tiny friends that people probably don't think a lot about. So this is going to be really fun for me. So a little bit before we start, Kate talked to you about what we're going to do. I just want to do a little disclaimer. I mean, the thing about being an explorer of nature is that you have to remember that there's human space and there's animal space, right? And humans, we've built our houses. We have our houses. We're safe there. We eat there. We sleep there. We feel good. When we go out into nature, we're going into the house of these animals. We're going into their space. And it's so important to be respectful of that. So I'm a teacher. I know what I'm doing. I'm a lot older. I've done this a lot of times. I know how to pick up these guys and not hurt them. And I did bring some into my house, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put them right back to their house as soon as this class is done. And I've got them in this container, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but I'm making sure that they're really safe. And that's something that you definitely want to do when you go out to do your worksheets and to do your exploration later on your own. Just make sure you're being gentle and you're being careful and you're not stomping around, because you wouldn't want a giant pill bug coming into your house and flipping over your bed and eating your crackers in your bed. You just wouldn't want that. So you shouldn't do that to them. Right, Kate? Yes, I see you shaking your head. You definitely don't want that.
Don't want that.
So another thing is when you go out and you start looking around for these guys, I'll tell you a little bit more about where they live, but you're really going to be looking for logs and piles of leaves and stuff like that. And pillbugs, they're not the only thing that live there. There's a lot of animals that live right below your feet that you don't even notice are there. So they're pretty small, but sometimes they can move really quickly. Some of them might look a little bit scary. They might be spiky or fuzzy or whatever. Pillbugs don't look like that. But sometimes spiders can be scary. Sometimes centipedes can be scary. And you're going to find them living in the same places as pillbugs. So when you turn over a log or you turn over a rock looking for these animals, be prepared to see other things. It's going to be fine. They're way more scared of you than you are of them. And I promise you, they don't want to hurt you. If you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. So just be cognizant of that. Be careful of that when you're going out and exploring. So now that my teacher bit is over, now we can do the fun stuff. Okay, so I have this container here, and on top, I actually have some wet paper towel, and I'm gonna lift it up and make sure there's nobody on there, just a little bit of dirt. I have the wet paper towel because it helps keep the dirt and the leaves that I put in my container nice and moist, nice and wet, because pillbugs need wet, they need water. You're not gonna find them in the middle of the desert or living in your carpet. They don't want that. They want dirt. They want dead leaves. They want rotting wood. So I put some of that in here with my friends so that they feel right at home. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my camera here. You're going to get a nice close-up of my nose. How's that look? Does that look good while I get myself situated here? Okay. And then I'm going to flip you around if I can find the button. Even teachers don't know what they're doing sometimes. And I'm going to set this up so you can see not just my kitchen, but also my little friends here. All right. So in this container, what have we got? What have we got? Can you guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? All right. So in here, if I just let it sit for a while, it kind of looks like it's a little bit dead. You don't see a lot of movement, right? But if I start looking and I start picking up really gently, remember, you want to be so gentle because these guys are a lot smaller than you. They're definitely a lot smaller than me because I'm a grown-up. But what I want to be looking for, is some movement. And look at this. I do have a little friend and curled up in this leaf. Do you see that little guy? Let's see if I can get it to focus. Look at that little guy. Oh my gosh. Kate, can you see that okay?
It's really hard to see. Can you bring it up for us?
Ooh,
A
let's see if I can
little
get it
bit more.
closer.
Oh, I can
I
see him
want it.
now.
You see this little shiny guy right here?
Mm-hmm. He's a little shiny guy.
Look at him. So this is actually a sow bug, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. He's not the friend I'm looking for specifically, but he does look really similar to the pictures that we saw from the book earlier. That's why we're going to talk about him a little bit later, because he's not the friend that we're looking for. But what I'm going to do in looking for my friend is I'm going to really, really gently search through the dirt. And I might find some other friends in here before I find my pillbug. But do you see how gently I'm looking? I really don't want to be smashing with my hands because I'm so much bigger. I could really hurt these guys. Oh my gosh, here's a little friend. You see him moving?
I see him
My
moving.
finger's pointing at him. All right, so I'm going to see if I can pick up my little friend here. Hello, little friend. Check this out. Look, he's right on my hand because the cool thing about pillbugs is they don't want to eat me. I am not delicious to them. This is a little pillbug, and he's not full grown. I do actually have a big adult pillbug in my terrarium, so I'm going to pull him out in a second if I can find him. But we'll talk about this guy right now. So what is a pillbug? How do I know that this is a pillbug? So pillbugs, they're animals that we call arthropods. An arthropod means that they have jointed legs, kind of like you do. where you can bend your knees, you can bend your elbows, you can bend your fingers, right? You have joints. So they have joints in their legs, but also they have body segments. You have body segments. You have a head, you have a chest, you have an abdomen. But these guys, they have something that you don't. An arthropod is an animal that not only has jointed legs, parts to their body, but they also have an exoskeleton. So if you see how shiny he is, it's because he's hard. He basically has his bones on the outside of his body. You are squishy on the outside and hard on the inside. Your bones are inside. His bones are outside. Whoa, uh-oh, and he just fell. But he's got that exoskeleton, so it's okay that he fell. He didn't get hurt. So let's see if we can find our big guy. Oh my gosh, I found him. Here he is. Here he is right here. You guys see him digging around in the dirt? Oh boy, let's see if we can pick him up. He's a squirmy worm. So pillbugs have a couple different names. We can call them roly-polies. We can call them pillbugs. We can also call them sow bugs sometimes, but that's kind of confusing because remember I said we saw the sow bug earlier? So these guys are also called crustaceans. And crustaceans, they're a family of bugs. They're a family of animal that also includes things like the lobster. If you've ever seen a lobster at a fancy dinner, that's also a crustacean. There's also shrimp. Those are crustaceans. Crabs, and a bunch of other animals that live on land because, you know, shrimp and crabs, they live in the water. These guys, I know that they're crustaceans because they have a lot of little legs. Let's see if I can move the camera here. It's a little, tilt you backwards. Look at all those little legs. You see that? He's so little. I don't even feel those legs touching me, but he's actually got 7 pairs of legs. That means he has 14 legs in total. And you see his little wiggly feelers? See his little wiggly antenna? He's using those to figure out what I am. He's trying to figure out what he's walking on. You can see them wiggling against my skin. He's using those to kind of smell me because he doesn't have a nose like you do. And his eyesight is not very good at all. He can't see very well. And that is because he lives in this. He lives in the dirt. He lives under leaves. He doesn't need to see very well, but he needs to feel his way around. So he's got his little wiggly feelers. Now, these guys, they have all of these different plates on their bodies. I said that they have an exoskeleton. Now, that means they're hard on the outside, but their exoskeleton has developed or evolved to have lots of different little pieces. And that is how they do their amazing behavior of turning into a little pill. Let's see if I can get him to do it. See, the problem is he feels very comfortable with me, right, Kate? That's the problem. We don't want to we don't want to scare animals. You know, it's not fun to scare animals, but I do want to see if I can get him to roll up for you guys so that you can see him do it. But he's too comfortable. So he might do it later. We'll figure that out. But all right, remember how I said these guys, they don't have very good eyesight. They like to live in the dirt. I found this guy and all of his other friends right outside my house. I happen to have some woods behind my house. You might not, though. I don't know where you guys live. You might live in a city. You might live in a town. You might live in the middle of nowhere. You can always find pillbugs, no matter where you live. They're just like people. All they want is dark and wet. And if they can have some rotting wood, if there's maybe an old park bench or a rotting log or a big boulder or something, they're going to be underneath that. So when you go exploring, that's what you want to be looking for. You also might want to look for some leaves, kind of like this, the dead leaves, because this is what they eat. Pillbugs are what we call detrivores. Now that's a big science word. That means that they like to eat things that are already dead. They like to eat plants that are already dead. And look at that. I got to keep moving my arm because he keeps moving. Let's see if I can get him on my other hand here. Come here, buddy. Come on, buddy. Ah, there we go. So they want to eat all this dead, decaying stuff. So they're really, really important for the ecosystem, for the environment, for the food web or the food chain, if you've ever learned about that in school. So these guys, they make sure that they clean up all the dead leaves that fall from the trees. So they're super important for us. Now, I can't get him to roll up because he's too comfortable. But when I found him first, when I first turned over that log behind my house and I saw him and he saw me, he got really, really scared. And he rolled up into that perfect little ball that you saw in the pictures that Kate showed you. And that is how they protect themselves. These guys are so little. They don't have mouths that can bite. They don't have stingers that can sting. They can't shoot venom at you or make a stinky smell like stink bugs can. So all they can do is roll up into a ball with their hard plates on the outside to protect their soft little legs and their soft little bellies from getting hurt. So that's why you really don't have to be scared of these guys, because all they can do is hide. So now that he's comfortable, you can see that he is nice and flat and he's walking. But if I did scare him and I kept messing with him, he might actually start to run and he would just flatten out really, really flat. And all 7 pairs of those little feet would go super fast. And he would try and bury himself down in the leaf litter as quickly as he possibly could. So in your worksheets later, you're going to see pictures of all different actions that these little guys can do. So remember what I said about how they like to behave, even though you can't see him doing it because he's too happy. So now, Kate, I talked about I live in the woods, right? And I have a lot of trees, a lot of logs, a lot of dead leaves. But what about you? Where do you live? Do you find pillbugs where you are down in South Jersey? Because I'm in North Jersey. We're really far apart.
Well, Vaughn, so I live in, south of you, so more of like central Jersey, and I'm right on the Delaware River.
Ooh, so it's pretty
So
wet.
yeah, so there's a lot of wet areas. There's a lot of places for me to walk. I do live in a little village or city, but where I found pillbugs is kind of right along, Main Street. There are places that I, walking my dog on the sidewalk, and I can kind of turn some things over, and I found them. I don't know whether I think some of the ones that I found are a little bit lighter than the ones that you found, but they look exactly the same. Some are big, some are little, and that little tiny one in the beginning of the slideshow was a very young one. That little one would develop that harder exoskeleton and that darker color. But yeah, so I've seen them and they look a lot like yours. So, and as I said, I live in the city. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go back to our slideshow, and I want to take a look at some of the resources that you're going to get in your email. So we're going to email you, all of the families who signed up, and in that email, there's going to be all of these things that you're going to be seeing. So what I'm going to do now is just talk about what you're going to be getting, and then also what activities that you can do with these resources. And then remember I said that the answer sheets are going to come on Friday. So I'll be sending you email today and email on Friday. So let's see if my screen share works again. And let's see. There we go.
Ta-da.
Yes, it works.
Yes.
That was my
did.
gymnastics move. I'm so happy when that works. So, okay, so that's where we ended off. Remember, we said that we were going to take a close look at that pillbug. And I think that when you were looking at Vaughn's pillbug, you saw the little legs, and maybe you can really, really take a close look, and see that the legs have segments or sections, right? And we talked about that, and we talked about all the plates on top and how they're hard on the outside. So let's see, I'm going to advance. So there's another picture of one, right? Can you see it close up? I just wanted to review that with you again. See how the colors that Vaughn showed you are there, and the plates. Okay, so the anatomy again. We couldn't get that pillbug to roll up, could we? There's that little one. Okay, so we've seen these. We're going to go back now to this. This is one of the worksheets or one of the papers that you're going to get in the email. And what we want you to do is to see whether you can label the parts. So the Pillbug has a top part, right? That's the top part that we could see. But of course it has a underside part also. It has a bottom part. So if you were to flip a Pillbug over and look at the bottom section, look at its belly section, you can see where the legs are attached. Whoops, I gave you one of the answers. So what we're going to do with that worksheet is that you're going to get some information and you're going to see if you can put the right names in all of the labels and whether you can find the parts. You're also going to be getting a sheet where you can observe and draw your own Pillbug. So you can try drawing one yourself, and then you can draw it from the pictures that we're sending, or you can draw it from a live one that maybe you can find outside. But you're going to try your hand at your own drawings and see whether you can label the parts just like on our drawing. Then there's another set of sheets that you're going to get, and these are called "Where Are You, Pillbugs?" And remember, Vaughn was saying where he looked outside. He looked on in a lot of different places. So you can see in this picture, these children are looking for Pillbugs. They have their super duper magnifying glass, and if you don't have one, that's fine. But you know, I really like using this all the time. And so, would you look in the leaves? Would you look under logs? Would you look up inside of a tree? Would you look in the sky? Would you look right here on the path? Would you look in his sneakers? I don't know. I have to decide where you can discover Pillbugs. And I'll explain what you're going to do that with this worksheet in a minute. Here's a super cool picture of a beautiful woodland area. See lots of beautiful trees and branches, and you can see the sunlight coming through. But remember what Vaughn said about sunlight. Are the Pillbugs going to be out in the sun? Are they going to be taking a sun bath? Are they going to need sunscreen and they're going to hang out in a sunny spot? Or are they going to be somewhere else? So those are the decisions that you're going to have to make with this worksheet. Also, I said that I lived in a city. My city doesn't have really big buildings like this, nor does it have really super cool lighting like this, but that's a city environment. So could I find a Pillbug in the city? If I could find one, where would it be? Would it be in the dirt? Would it be on a swing? Would it be walking across this beam like a gymnast, like a balance beam? So you're going to have to make those decisions. And then you can create your own habitat. You can create your own place where a Pillbug could live. And you can draw whatever you would like in this sheet that you're going to be getting as well. Well, instead of drawing them, you know, how many times can you draw a Pillbug? I mean, quite a few times. But what we've given you also in this handout are a bunch of different Pillbugs. There's a whole bunch of round ones, the ones that are rolled up into a pill or rolled up into a ball. We have this one that looks like, is he coming out of a ball or is he going into a ball? Not sure. You can make that decision. And then there are Pillbugs that look like they're walking. So these are the ones that are opened up and very much like the ones that Vaughn had, where that Pillbug was walking along his hand. But instead of drawing them over and over, you can cut these out individually, and then you can go back and you can place them where you want them on the sheet. You can place them on your own drawing. You can place them on the path or where you think that you could find them. I don't think you're going to find them flying in the sky. That's a big hint. But you're going to place them around this sheet. And then even in this photograph, you can decide where the pill bugs would be found most often. Then, if you wanted to, you can draw objects where you could find the pill bugs, but we've given you some here also. So we have a recycling container, very, very important. Everybody should have recycling containers around them. Here's a regular trash can, a bench, some logs, a rock. You know, this looks like a branch, a pail, and some rocks. So even if you didn't want to draw these objects, you'll be getting them and you can cut them out and place on those pictures. Now here's a super hard one. This one is super duper hard, but I think that you'll be able to do a great job on this. Vaughn told you that pill bugs are related to lots of other animals. So the first thing that you need to do in this little worksheet is to think about and maybe even research what they are. Does everybody know what this is? How about this one? How about this guy? How about this one? So you have to say, this is the pill bug. Is the pill bug related to this guy? Is the pill bug related to this guy? Well, I mean, they kind of look the same. That's a really interesting animal. So we have to figure out what that animal is and say, is that related? Are they related? Or maybe this guy down here, Mr. Hippity Hop. So those are the worksheets that you're going to be getting in the mail. And then in the email today, you know, by tonight, we'll send them to you. When you have your answers, if you want to send them back to us, mom, dad, or whomever, an adult, can take a picture of it and email back to us. We'll be giving you an email address. And then what we're going to be doing is we'll be in contact with you. We may even post some of your pictures. So if you draw a really cool picture on one of these blank sheets, and maybe you use some of the cutouts and you color things, or that you label your drawings, if you send them back to us, we might put it on Instagram, or we may put it in the Duke Farms website. So then you'll be a published author and you'll be a published artist. And how cool will that be? But we'd love to see your work if you'd like to send it back to us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That worked again, amazing. And I always hold my breath for that little gymnastics move. And so I would say, Vaughn, what do you think? In a couple of hours, we'll have those resources to send to all the families today. Does that sound about
Absolutely.
right? Okay,
Yep.
great. And also, if you have any questions, if you're like, I forget what I'm supposed to do with this, you know what? No big deal. You can try your best. And then you can also have an adult email me if there's a question, okay? But, you know, this was our first I Spy class. And I don't know whether you had as much fun as we did, because we really had a lot of fun. The other thing that we're trying to get some answers about, and maybe you can help us. What next animal should we do? Should we do I Spy a
Bigfoot?
No, Vaughn, we're not
No.
doing
Oh.
no, we're not doing Bigfoot. So what we're not doing Bigfoot. So what animal should we do? We're going to have another class in a couple of weeks. It's going to called I Spy a, and we need you to help us. We need you to decide what animal that we would find at Duke Farms, because we're talking about animals that live in New Jersey and animals that, you know, live around us, not like I spy an ostrich. So we
I see some ideas.
Yeah. So I want to know about your ideas. We really want you to help us. And then maybe your idea will be picked for the next I Spy. And we'll say, this idea was brought to you by, and whatever your name is. So there you go. So you can help us, all right? Because we've been searching for our next animal to do. All right? Okay, so with that, we're going to be signing off from Duke Farms. I think that this has been a great class. I see a lot of super scientists out there, and I can't wait to see you again.
Absolutely.
Big wave, and we'll see you soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thank you for
Bye.
coming.
Yeah. Oh, and Vaughn, let those guys
Yes.
outside now, right?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
they
I'm
come
going to
in
go do
now?
that right now. Yep,
Okay,
that's right
great.
now.
Fantastic. Okay, see you soon.
Bye.